I'm Eliza, 23 years old, and sitting in my graduation gown, I could see my parents, Marie and David, beaming from the front row. They looked so proud, ready to watch their two daughters graduate. My twin sister, Zoe, was right next to me, adjusting her cap. My parents had paid for her every cent, every book, every fee, her sorority dues. When I was a junior, $1,500 short on tuition and working 3 jobs, they told me to figure it out. My mother's exact words still echo in my head. Zoe deserved it, you didn't. They thought they were here for a simple ceremony. They thought they were just watching their girls get a piece of paper. They had no idea I was about to be called to the stage first. They didn't know the dean was about to tell the entire auditorium my real story. A story about a finance student who succeeded without any family support. I watched them whispering and smiling to each other. They had no idea their quiet, lifelong betrayal was about to go public. I just sat there, waiting. Their faces were about to go pale. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're watching from. From the outside, we looked like the kind of family people envied. We lived in a nice house on a clean street with a white picket fence and a green lawn my father, David, mowed every Saturday. My mother, Marie, planted red flowers by the mailbox. We took a family photo for a Christmas card every single year. All of us in matching sweaters. All of us smiling. We looked perfect. But if you looked closely, you would see it. When we sat on the sofa, my mother's hand always rested on Zoe's shoulder. It never landed on mine. When my father came home, his eyes softened when Zoe ran to hug him. He would lift her up. When I came to hug him, his hand would pat my head, just a quick pat. "Hello, Eliza," he'd say. His voice was kind, but it was tired. For Zoe, it was never tired. We were twins. I was 4 minutes older, but those 4 minutes turned into a lifetime of distance. It was like we were born in the same house but grew up in different families. Zoe was the delicate one. I was the strong one. This was not a choice. This was a job I was given. I remember when I was 6, I fell from the big oak tree in our backyard. I hit the ground hard, and my knee was split open. Blood was everywhere. I cried and limped inside, leaving a trail of red drops on the kitchen floor. My mother was at the sink. She turned around and sighed. "Oh, Eliza, look at this mess." She grabbed a paper towel and pressed it into my hand. "Go to the bathroom. Clean yourself up." "It hurts, Mom," I cried. "I know it hurts," she said, her voice flat. "You're strong, Eliza. You'll be fine. Go on." I went to the bathroom by myself. I sat on the edge of the tub and washed my knee with soap, biting my lip to stop from screaming at the sting. I found the bandages and taped 3 of them across the cut. I did it myself. I had to be strong. 2 weeks later, Zoe was on the porch. She had a cold. She just sniffled. One tiny sniffle. My mother heard it from the kitchen. She dropped what she was doing and came running out with a blanket, an ice pack, and orange juice. She sat next to Zoe, wrapping the blanket around her. "Oh, my poor baby," Mom cooed, stroking her hair. "Are you okay?" Zoe sniffled again. "My head feels warm." Mom put her hand on Zoe's forehead. "You're burning up!" She wasn't. "David!" she called. "Zoe is sick!" My father came out and knelt by her chair. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I just stood in the doorway, watching. My knee still had a big, puffy scab. I hadn't gotten a blanket. I got a paper towel and a chore. Zoe got a sniffle and the full attention of 2 parents. This was how it always was. In my family, I was the weed. Zoe was the flower. A weed is strong. A weed can grow anywhere, even in the cracks of the sidewalk. Nobody waters a weed. Nobody praises a weed. They just expect it to survive. A flower is beautiful and delicate. Everyone protects the flower. Everyone smiles at the flower. I learned to live in the cracks. I learned to find my own water. But it was a lonely way to grow up. When we got report cards, I would bring home all A's and 1 B. My father would look at it. "A B in history, Eliza. You know you can do better." Zoe would bring home B's and a C. My father would pat her head. "Good job, Zoe. I know you're trying hard. We're so proud of you." I wanted to scream. I got 5 A's. I tried hard too, but I learned early that my best was not as good as Zoe's average. My effort was expected. Her effort was a gift. It was in our bedrooms. They were the same size, but Zoe's room was perfect. My mother had taken her shopping for a new white bed frame, a pink comforter, and matching curtains. My dad built her a special bookshelf. My room had my old bed and a comforter with cartoon cars on it. I was 12. "Mom, can I get a new comforter?" I asked. She looked busy. "Eliza, that one is perfectly fine. We don't waste money on things we don't need." But Zoe got a new one. "Zoe's was tearing," she said. It wasn't. And pink was on sale. It wasn't. I painted my own walls. I saved up money from mowing lawns and bought a can of gray paint. When my dad saw it, he frowned. "You got some paint on the carpet, Eliza." He didn't say, "Good job." He just saw the mistake. When we turned 13, the birthday party was all about Zoe. The cake said, "Happy birthday, Zoe," in big pink letters. My name was a small and Eliza squeezed in at the bottom. "The baker ran out of room," Mom explained, not looking at me. Zoe got a brand new 10-speed bicycle, bright red and shiny. Then my father rolled out my present. It was Zoe's old bike. He had spray painted it silver. The paint was still sticky. "We fixed it up for you," Dad said, smiling. "It's good as new." I looked at the silver paint, seeing the old pink peeking through. I looked at Zoe's new red bike. "Thank you," I whispered. My throat felt tight. "What's wrong, Eliza?" Mom asked, her voice sharp. "Be grateful." I nodded. "I am, thank you." Zoe rode her new bike everywhere. I left the silver bike in the garage. I walked. By high school, I stopped trying to compete. I got a job as a dishwasher, then a waitress. I worked every weekend, and 2 nights a week. I saved every dollar in a bank account my parents didn't know about. It was my escape. Zoe lived a different life. She'd come home from the mall with shopping bags. "Mom gave me her credit card," she'd say, pulling out a new dress. I would be at the kitchen table in my work pants, smelling like fried food, counting my tips, $18. "You work too much, Eliza," Zoe said to me one day, scrolling through her phone on her perfect bed. "You should live a little. Just ask Mom for money." "It's different for me." She frowned, not understanding. "No, it's not. You're just weird about money." How could I tell her that in our house, love came with a price tag, and I wasn't worth the cost? Senior year, I applied to 10 top-tier, out-of-state finance programs. My 4 gigapascals and packed resume were built alone. Zoe applied to one, the local state university, my safety school. We both got our acceptance letters on the same day. "I got in!" Zoe screamed, waving her letter. "I got in too," I said. For 1 second, it felt equal. My mom hugged Zoe, then she turned and hugged me. "My girls, both in college," she said, her eyes wet. "I'm so proud." My dad smiled. "That's fantastic. The state university, a great school." "I got into 6 other schools too," I said, holding up the other letters. "New York, Chicago, Boston." "Oh, that's nice, Eliza," Mom said, her attention back on Zoe. "But the state school is so close. You can both go together. It will be perfect." That night, I learned how wrong I was. I was walking past my parents' bedroom. Their door was open a crack. I heard them talking. "The tuition for 2 is going to be a lot," my father said. "It's fine," my mother said. "We'll pay for Zoe's tuition in full. We have the savings for that. It's what we always planned." "And Eliza?" There was a long, cold silence. Then my mother said the words that broke the last part of me. "Eliza's clever, David. She'll figure something out. She has that job. She probably has savings. She always does." My dad agreed. "You're right. She's independent. She's strong. She doesn't need as much help as Zoe. Zoe needs us. Eliza will be fine." I stood there, shaking. This wasn't a compliment. It was dismissal. My strength was my punishment. I went back to my gray room. I had worked so hard, done everything right, and my reward was to be abandoned. A few days later, we sat down to discuss finances. "Girls," my dad started, "we want to be fair. We are going to pay for your college, Zoe," Mom said, smiling at her. Zoe clapped. Thank you, thank you. Then my mother turned to me, her smile tight. Eliza, we know how responsible you are. We think it's important for you to learn the value of an education by investing in it yourself. We will help if you really get into trouble, of course, but we know you won't. She was making it sound like a lesson, like a gift. I looked at my father. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at Zoe. She was already texting her friends. She didn't even notice what just happened. Okay, I said. My mother looked surprised. Okay? That's it? Yes, okay, you're right. I stood up. I'm responsible. I'm independent. I'll pay for it myself. Oh, Eliza, we knew you'd understand, Mom said, relieved. I understand perfectly, I said. I walked out. My small savings account was enough for the first semester, just the first one. It didn't matter. I was free of them. The lie was over. They had one daughter. And then there was me. College split our lives. Zoe's life was a movie. My parents moved her into a bright, decorated dorm, bought her a new laptop, and helped hang fairy lights. She joined a sorority, her Facebook filled with parties. They sent her a $100 weekly allowance. My life was invisible. I moved myself into a dim, off-campus apartment with peeling paint. I couldn't afford a meal plan. I bought ramen in bulk. I got a job at the campus library. It wasn't enough. So, I got a second job, waitressing at a bar downtown from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. on weekends. I'd walk home in the dark, sleep for 4 hours, and then go study. I was always tired. When Zoe saw me on campus, she'd call out, "Eliza, you look awful. Are you sick?" "No, Zoe. I'm just tired." "You should really manage your time better," she'd say, clueless. "I'm super busy too, but I still make time to sleep. You just have to prioritize." I would just smile. "You're right. I'll try that." Every time she said something like that, it pushed me harder. I was fueled by anger. Then came sophomore year. I had $42 in my bank account. Tuition was due in 3 days. I was $500 short. I thought about calling home. I imagined my mom's sigh, my dad's disappointment. I put the phone down. I sold my textbooks for the next semester to get the $500. I paid the bill 2 minutes before the deadline. Sophomore year bled into junior year. The money problem was a monster. The bar cut my hours. I was running out of options. I was selling my plasma twice a week for $50. I was eating 1 meal a day. It was usually a bag of rice, boiled. I was so hungry. I was so tired. One night I was walking home in the winter. It was snowing. My shoes had a hole in the left sole. My sock was soaked, and my foot was numb. I got back to my apartment. I sat on my bed in my wet coat. I looked at my bank account. I had $112. A new tuition bill was due in 2 weeks. I was $1,500 short. There was no way. I had sold everything I could. I was going to be kicked out of school. I thought about my promise. I will never ask them for help again. My pride was a heavy rock. But the fear was a tidal wave. I had to. Maybe they would help if it was a real emergency. My hands were shaking. I dialed. My mother, Marie, answered, breezy. "Eliza, what a surprise. How is school? Zoe is doing so well. We're thinking of getting her a new car." I closed my eyes. A new car. "Mom," I said, and my voice cracked. "Mom, I'm in trouble." Her tone changed, instantly cold. "What kind of trouble, Eliza? Are you on drugs? Are you pregnant?" "No, it's tuition." I felt sick with shame. "The bill is due. I'm short. I'm $1,500 short. I just need a loan. I will pay you back. I'll be dropped from my classes." There was a long silence. I could hear a game show laughing on their TV. "Eliza," she said, her voice so tired. "I don't understand this. You have 2 jobs. Where does all your money go?" "You need to learn how to budget." "I do budget, Mom. I don't buy anything, please." "Money is tight, Eliza," she said. "I'm just asking for a loan," I whispered, begging. "Please, Mom, I'll be kicked out." Then she sighed, a sigh of pure annoyance. "Eliza, we talked about this. We are already paying for Zoe. She is our responsibility." "I'm your daughter too," the words ripped out of me. "Yes," she said, her voice calm. And we love you. But you are strong. You are independent. Zoe is not. This is just how it is. So, you won't help me? You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet, Eliza. This is the real world. I couldn't speak. Then she said it. The line that cut the last thread. We already paid for Zoe, she said, casually. She deserved it. But you didn't. The world stopped. You didn't. She said it like it was a simple fact. Eliza, are you still there? I wasn't. You'll figure it out, Eliza, she said, brighter now. You always do. Click. She hung up. I sat on my bed, still in my wet coat. I did not cry. The last little part of me that was a child died in that phone call. I was finished. I was completely, finally, on my own. A cold clarity came over me. I would not be kicked out. I put on a dry sock. I walked back out into the snow, to the 24-hour computer lab. I found the website for emergency university loans. The interest rate was terrible. I didn't care. I signed the papers. The loan wasn't enough to live on. I needed another job. The student employment office found one. Cleaning the classrooms in the business building from 5 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. My days became a blur. 5 a.m. mop floors. 8 a.m. class, library shift, study, waitress, sleep. I was a machine. One afternoon, I was in the library, trying to study for my advanced auditing midterm. I hadn't slept in 2 days. I put my head down on the textbook. Miss Eliza? I jerked up. Dr. Ben Carter, my professor, was standing there. He was brilliant and tough. I was so embarrassed. I'm sorry, Professor. He looked at me with concern. You look like a ghost, Eliza. I'm fine, sir. Just tired. You're the best student in my class, he said. Possibly in 10 years. But you're asleep on your textbook at 3 p.m. I have a lot of work. He sat down. I see you every morning, you know. I get here at 7 a.m. I see you cleaning the classrooms. That's your third job, isn't it? I nodded. You've got grit, Eliza, he said, but grit alone will kill you. I need a research assistant. I'm working on a paper on forensic accounting. It's real work. It pays less than your bar job, but it's a stipend. And it's in your field. I'll take it, I said. I thought you might, he said. Quit the cleaning job, quit the bar, just focus on this and your classes. Stop trying to mop the world. I looked at him. Why me? Because, he said, I don't want to see a mind like yours wasted because you were too tired to use it. That was the spark. I quit the other 2 jobs. I was poorer, but I was sleeping. I worked for Dr. Carter. He treated me like a colleague. He asked my opinion. For the first time, someone was supporting me with respect. It was better than money. 3 months later, an email came through. It's for the Alexander Ford National Scholarship, Dr. Carter said. It's for high-achieving students with significant financial hardship. Students who are paying for their own education, without family support. He looked right at me. I think you should apply, Eliza. The essay prompt. Describe the personal or financial challenges you have overcome. I wrote it all down. I wrote about the repainted bike. I wrote about the 5 a.m. cleaning job. I wrote the phone call down. I was told that my sister deserved it and I did not. I gave it to Dr. Carter. He read it and nodded. This will do. 3 months later, an email arrived. Alexander Ford Foundation decision. I clicked it. Dear Miss Eliza, congratulations. The board has selected you as one of 5 national recipients. You will receive a full scholarship for your remaining tuition, a stipend for living expenses, and we will pay off your outstanding student loans. Full scholarship, pay off your loans, stipend. It was over. The fight was over. I had won. I put my head down on my desk, and for the first time since I was 6 years old, I cried. Not for sadness or anger. It was for relief. I whispered to the empty room. I did it. The scholarship changed everything. My senior year, I was no longer Eliza the ghost. I was Eliza the scholar. I quit my library job. I had time to study, to sleep. I joined the Finance Honors Society and became its president. I was getting job offers. Big firms from Chicago and New York were flying me out for interviews. I, who had holes in my shoes, was now flying on planes and staying in nice hotels. I aced all my classes, on track to be the valedictorian of the business school with a perfect 4. Zoe. She was stressed about graduating cum laude, which required a 3.5. She was at a 3.48. "Can you believe Professor Smith won't round me up?" she complained. "It's so unfair." "That's tough, Zoe," I said. 2 weeks before the ceremony, I got an invitation. The dean was hosting a special awards ceremony for big donors, faculty, and award recipients. I had to invite my family. This was the moment. I called home. Mom answered, cheerful. "Eliza, we're so excited for graduation. And guess what? We're taking Zoe to Europe for a gift. A whole month. She's deserved it. She worked so hard." I smiled. The words didn't hurt anymore. "That's great, Mom. Listen, the graduation is at noon. But there's a small event before it at 10 a.m. You should come to that, too." "Oh, what is it, honey?" "Just a small awards event," I said. "I have to be there." "Well, if you have to be there, we'll be there. Front row." The day came. I put on my gown and cap. I saw my family, right in the front row. My mother in a bright blue dress, my father in his best suit, Zoe taking selfies. "Eliza, we saved you a seat," Zoe waved. "I can't," I said, pointing to the reserved section. "I have to sit up front." "Ooh, honors," my mother whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Look, David, she's in the front row." They looked so proud, like they had done this. They had no idea what was about to happen. The dean, Dr. Price, stepped up to the podium. "Good morning. We are here to celebrate excellence." My parents clapped politely. "Our first presentation," the dean said, "is one of our highest honors. The Alexander Ford National Scholarship is given to only 5 undergraduate students in the entire nation." My mother looked impressed. The dean continued, "This award does not just recognize a high GPA. It recognizes resilience. It recognizes independence. It is awarded to students who have achieved excellence while facing profound personal and financial challenges." I was watching my family. My mother's smile became smaller. "This year's recipient," the dean said, "is a true example of this spirit, graduating today with a 4. Ling." My father looked at my mother, confused. "She did this," the dean said, his voice serious, "while working multiple jobs to fund her entire education. She did this, without any financial support from her family." That was it. I heard my mother's sharp, quiet gasp. The color drained from her face. Her hands, raised to clap, froze. My father's mouth fell open. He looked like he'd been slapped. Zoe's hand was shaking. "This student has shown a level of grit and character that we rarely see," the dean said. "It is my great honor to ask Eliza to come to the stage." The applause was thunder. The entire faculty stood up. I stood up. I walked up the steps and shook the dean's hand. He gave me the award. I turned and stood on the stage. I looked directly at the front row. I looked at my mother's pale, horrified face. I looked at my father's shocked, empty eyes. I looked at Zoe, who looked like she was about to be sick. They were exposed, in front of everyone. The story they told, "We have 2 wonderful daughters in college," was a lie. The dean had just told the world the truth. I held the award. I didn't smile. I just watched their perfect family picture shatter. After the main graduation ceremony, where my summa cum laude was met with weak claps and Zoe's cum laude with a desperate, loud cheer, the crowd flooded the lawn. I was standing with Dr. Carter when I heard my mother's voice. "Eliza." The 3 of them walked toward me. My mother grabbed my arm in a stiff hug. "Eliza, honey, congratulations," she said, her voice too loud, her face a mask of joy. "We had no idea. Why didn't you tell us it was such a big deal?" "I did tell you there was an event, Mom," I said quietly. "Well, yes," she sputtered. "But all that stuff," the dean said. "Without family support, that was so dramatic. That's not true. We were always here for you. We supported you emotionally." She was trying to rewrite the story, right there on the lawn. My father stepped forward. He looked ashamed. He couldn't meet my eyes. "Eliza," he mumbled. We just thought you were strong. You're the strong one. He looked up, his eyes pleading. We didn't want to get in your way. Hold me back? I asked. By helping me? By paying for my school? Like you did for Zoe? It's not the same, Eliza, he said. Zoe, she's not like you. She needed us more. And I didn't? I asked. I was a child. I needed a father, too. He had no answer. Then Zoe spoke, her voice a tiny whisper. I didn't know it was that bad, Eliza. I turned to my twin. Her eyes were red. You always seemed fine, she whispered. You never asked, Zoe, I said. It was a fact. You never once asked why. She flinched. I thought you were just being weird about money. I'm sorry. I nodded. And that was it. The three of them stood there. My mother, angry and exposed. My father, broken and ashamed. My sister, clueless and crying. The anger I had carried for 20 years. It was gone. It had burned out. I wasn't full of rage. I was empty. I was free. I have to go, I said. There's a reception. Eliza, wait, my mom said, reaching for me. I stepped back. I have to go. I turned and walked away. I left them standing on the lawn. I felt so light. The weight of their neglect was their problem now. I was finished carrying it. At the dean's reception, a woman in a sharp suit came right up to me. Miss Eliza? I'm Sarah from Morgan and Slate Capital. We met at your interview. It's nice to see you again, I said. That was an incredible speech the dean gave, she said. Your resume is impressive. But your character is what sold us. She handed me a thick folder. We are formally offering you the analyst position in our New York office. The salary is in this folder, plus a significant signing bonus. We will cover your full relocation. I opened it. The starting salary was more than my father made in a year. Thank you, I said. I accept. Wonderful. Welcome to the firm. We start in July. I stood by the window, holding the folder. I looked down at the lawn. I could see them. My family. They were still there, standing by a tree. They looked small. Lost. They were waiting for me to come back down so we could go to dinner and pretend this never happened. But I wasn't coming down. That night, I was back in my empty apartment, packing my one box of textbooks and one suitcase. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. Eliza, we're at the car. Are you coming to dinner? We want to celebrate. A second later, from my father. We're proud of you. Let's talk later. They still didn't get it. They thought their approval was something I still needed. I picked up the phone and typed one reply to both of them. Thank you. I'm busy. I turned the phone off. I was busy packing for my new life. I left town the next morning. I didn't say goodbye. But I did one last thing. I took the official award letter from the Alexander Ford Foundation, the one that detailed the scholarship and the reason it was given. For students who have achieved excellence without family support. I put it in a plain white envelope. I put a stamp on it. I mailed it to my parents' house. No note, just the proof. Let them hang it on their wall. My new apartment in New York was tiny, on the 14th floor, with a small balcony. My first night, I stood out there. The city was so loud. But in my head, it was quiet. For the first time, it was silent. I looked out at the skyline, a million windows glowing like quiet victories. My mother's words echoed in my head, the words that almost broke me, but instead, built me. She deserved it. But you didn't. I looked at the city, my city. I looked at the lights, my lights. I smiled. It was a small smile, and it was all mine.